Hello, everyone. Can you just let me know if you can hear me okay? If you can just type yes in the chat box if you can hear me, that would be really helpful. Hello, and welcome to the webinar. If you can hear me, can you just type yes in the chat box, please? Just so I know that you can hear me okay. Fantastic. Okay, I can see people are hearing me. That's great. So hello everyone and welcome to my webinar. And we're here today for 15-20 minutes to talk about start to developing your career plan. Just bear with me one moment. Just having a little technical issue. Struggling with the slides. This is a great start. If you just bear with me, guys, and I'll just share my document again and hope that it's okay. Fantastic. Okay, sorry about that. We'll start again. So my name is Francesca and I'm one of the careers advisors at UClan Careers. So we're here today to talk to you about starting to think about getting a bit of a career plan together and to kind of start to think about, what that might look like. So what we're going to just have a quick recap on is the Career Pulse and Career Planning Award. We won't spend too much time on that because a lot of you may have already been to those webinars and be aware, maybe even kind of already taken them. But then really what I want to focus on about you understanding what the main components of a successful career plan looks like and feel really confident in getting started with using our career plan template, which is part of our Career Planning Award. So, as a reminder, as you log into Career Edge, which you all got access to as students, and as you log into your computer in the morning, on the left-hand side, you've got all the different icons. If you click on Career Edge there, that's the easiest way to access it, and you just log in with your usual UClan username and password. You will see something pop up saying, do you want to take our Career Pulse? So click on yes if you've not already taken that. And that will really help you kind of start to think about where you're at in your career plan and what you need to do to move further along with it. So there's 13 questions. It's really quick and easy. It's got a 1 to 7 skating rail, like a strongly agree, strongly disagree kind of scaling. And it will really help you in kind of assessing where you're up to with your career planning and your employability and your self-awareness, which areas you're doing really well in and which areas you need to kind of improve on and help you to get that plan together. So once you've taken the career planning pulse, you'll get a pulse report that looks something like this. And it will give you an overall percentage score, and then it will break that down into different areas. Telling which you've scored really well at and which areas that you need to kind of improve on. So it could be something like you're really self-aware and you really kind of understand, you and your skills and abilities and how that could match up to careers, but you really need to work on perhaps your interview techniques, for example. And then it will suggest, certain resources and activities within Career Edge and within the award that you can access to help you to kind of improve on those areas. So rather than you going blind and looking through Career Edge and trying to kind of pick out relevant areas to you, it will help to kind of tailor make those to you and your situation, really, because there's a lot of information on there and you can spend a lot of time looking around. So once you've taken the career pulse and you've got your report, you can go and take the award, and you can complete as many or as little sections as you like, but it's really about kind of helping you to understand yourself and your next steps. It's really short and snappy and bite-sized, and it will really help you to work on those areas in terms of your employability, whether that's CVs, application forms, understanding yourself, and so on. It will really help you to kind of work on those areas to get to where you want to be. So, as part of that, as part of the award, there's a career planning template, which I want to tell you a little bit more detail about today. So within the report, there is an understanding your next steps section. And then within that is where you will find the starting your career plan template. So I'm going to show you an example of that shortly. But before you think about filling it in a template and setting yourself some goals, it's really important to start to think about smart action planning, and that may be something that you've kind of come across, or it may be very new to some of you. But smart action planning is about using these smart principles when you're setting goals. So each letter stands for something different. So we've got the S, which stands for SMART, which basically means that your goal should be really clear and really specific. It shouldn't be vague, it shouldn't be wishy-washy. So you've got to think about the specifics, the what's, why's, who's, where's, and whiches. So for example, here's an example of a SMART goal. So it could be something like if you was, like, for example, a newly qualified maths teacher, you want to become head of department. It could be, I want to get the skills and experience necessary to become head of department so I can lead by example and motivate and support my team to achieve success. So that's very personal and it's very specific. The M stands for measurable. So it's really important that, how are you going to know when you've achieved this goal? So an example could be, I'm going to achieve this goal within 5 years' time. So you put in like a little bit of a kind of a time frame on that. Achievable. Okay, it's no point setting goals that are unrealistic. It's got to be challenging, but it's got to be achievable enough. Okay, and it's about identifying what can bring you closer to that. So an example could be that you're going to gain further qualifications and gain more experience and speak to other heads of departments to gauge whether kind of 5 years experience is deemed enough, using the example of the maths teacher again. So you've got to think about whether that goal is achievable and make sure that it's something which is realistic. When we're thinking about achievable, I think it's really important to remember that there's no point setting goals that kind of someone else has kind of power over, as it says here. So you could say, well, I'm going to get promoted, but actually that depends on a number of different factors, doesn't it? It depends on who else applies for the job, how many candidates apply for the job, how you perform on the day. So saying something like, well, I'm going to build up the experience and training that I need to be considered for that for that promotion, is much more achievable, and it's something that you're kind of much more in control of. So that's something to consider. It's really important that it's your goal is realistic. Okay. So, it might be that you kind of, want to become kind of like head of marketing within your organisation, but it's about thinking about, is it the right time? Do I need to work towards any additional qualifications? Am I actually the right person for the role? Have I considered wider factors? So, for example, if someone wanted to start a family, would completing training in their free time make it more difficult? So that's very kind of similar to the achievable, but it's making sure that it's realistic, really, and you're not just setting a goal because you think that's a goal that you should set. I want to be a manager, or I want to get promoted, but does actually that goal mean something to you? Does it match you as a person? Are you taking into account your wider personal factors and socio-economic factors, and lots of different considerations? And then the last one, T, stands for time or orientated. So it's about giving yourself a target date. So thinking about where you're at now, what you can do 6 months from now, 6 weeks from now, what you can do tomorrow. But it's about kind of putting kind of like a time frame on that, really, which really helps to kind of make the goal more smart, make it more specific, and help to motivate you. So think about those SMART principles. So specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time orientated when you're thinking about your career plan. And you're all going to be at different stages with your career plan. Some of you might not have a clue kind of where you want to be yet, and that's absolutely fine. That's normal and natural. Some of you might have a vague idea, or some of you might be kind of like very clear and already kind of started to kind of take some action. But I think it's really important to kind of, to recognise that a plan isn't always set in stone, and things come up that are outside of your control, and sometimes you need to be flexible and you need to kind of change that plan, and that's absolutely fine. Sometimes you might want to throw the plan away together and and start a completely new one. That's absolutely fine. No one's saying that in the first few months of your university life you need to have a career plan together and know exactly where you're heading. but it's about kind of, making some progress towards that really as soon as you can when you start university, or even if you're kind of coming towards the end of, your third year, that's fine as well. It's never too late to start. The earlier the better. But yeah, it's important to kind of start to think about it and make some progress, from today really, to help you to move towards having some idea about what you want to do. So the template will really help you to do this and really help to gather your thoughts and have somewhere to record your thoughts and somewhere to reflect back on. So here's an example. It's quite small, so I do apologise for that. But, as you go into the career planning award yourself, you'll be able to have a look at this template. But what this does, it will suggest, for example, if kind of, career planning is an area that you need to work on, it will suggest resources and tools that you can use to explore your options, for example. And this is where you can record all your information. So in the first table, the column, sorry, should we call it, it's got options with your degree. So you may do a bit of research, starting perhaps with the Graduate Prospects website and other things that are suggested. And you may kind of get a bit of a shortlist together, perhaps say of no more than 4 to 5 careers at the absolute most that you're interested in, and you can record them there. So you can go back to them. And then you have a call about understanding yourself. So by taking the award, you'll have a better understanding of yourself and what skills you have, what strengths and weaknesses that you have, your personality and your motivations and how they can link to work. We've got loads of assessments that you can take that will help you with that if you are feeling like self-awareness is an area that you need to work on. So once you've got a list of kind of the skills that you're that you have that you want to use in a future career, there's a place for you to record that. It's really important to start to kind of think about that and really get comfortable with talking about your skills and what you're good at and giving examples and evidence to back that up, because you're asked all the time, whether you're going for an interview for a course or for a job or a graduate scheme, whatever it is, you're always going to be asked in some way, in some roundabout way, what can you bring to this role? What skills and strengths do you have? Tell me about a weakness that you have. So you need to get really comfortable talking about that. And I think we all find it quite uncomfortable. But it's not something that you need to be, worried about. It's not showing off, talking about what you're good at. It is showing off if you just say I'm fantastic at A, B, C, and D and you don't give any evidence. But if you're saying, I feel like I'm strong, a strong communicator, spent the kind of the last 2 years kind of, volunteering, in a charity where I've communicated with all different types of people, from young people to the elderly to the disabled, for example. You're giving it an example to back that up. So that's not bad showing off. That's good showing off. The next column is about areas to develop. So you've already thought about you and what you're good at and what careers you're interested in. So we've all got areas that we need to develop in. So whether it's kind of working on our technology and IT skills, or working on being more assertive, or being a better public speaker, whatever it is, we all have areas to develop on. So you could think about like 1 or 2 areas that you really kind of need to kind of improve on, because sometimes you can be interested in a career, but that was like an element of that career. For example, let's take public speaking as an example. It's always going to be part of that career. And naturally, that's something that a lot of people are quite kind of fearful of. But, unfortunately, for some jobs, it's just part and parcel of the job. So, if you want to do that job, you have to improve your skills in that area. So you could think about how you can do that. So that could be, for example, volunteering for more to stand up and present more within your kind of lectures and seminars, or taking on a lead more in group presentations, or again, volunteering for, a charity that goes around schools, doing assemblies to raise awareness of things, whatever it is to build your skills in those areas. Then lastly, you've got space for your goals. So you might have like a long-term goal and a short-term goal, or a goal for year 1, 2 and year 3, and then a goal for when you graduate. As few or as little as you want, but not too many on the go at the same time. And again, that's where you think about applying those SMART principles that we talked about. So I'm going to show you just an example here. And yes, I do apologise how small the writing is. But these slides will be emailed to you and also kind of available on the Career Edge recordings page for you to refer back to. But here's just an example of one that is filled in. So here's an example, just a made up example of someone who's kind of studying like a sport and physical activity course, and they've shortlisted a few different degree options and career options that they're interested in, from health promotion to sports development and working in nutrition. They've written a list there kind of skills that they feel that they've developed from within the course and outside the course, all the other things that they're interested in that are relevant to those careers. They've listed some, ideas of kind of 3 different skills, which kind of areas to develop. So, for example, they've identified that they might need some leadership skills to progress, and they could maybe talk about building up some more experience in a supervisory role within the part-time job, and achieving targets. They realised, actually, I did that when I worked part-time at Currys, so I need to go back and speak to people at Currys and find out if there's anything on record about what targets I worked towards and how much I achieved them by. And then we've got some goals here. For example, gain supervisory experience at work by October 2021, and quantify targets exceeded at Currys in percentages to use on my CV when applying for summer internships from March 2021. So there are specific goals. So I think that career planning template will really help you to gain some order to your kind of your thoughts and your planning, and really help you to start to kind of knuckle down, what careers you're going to consider, what you've got to offer, what you need to work on, and what goals that you're setting yourself. Okay, so we're coming towards the end of the webinar now. So just a few kind of extra points about the career plan. Once you've completed that as part of the career planning award, you could book an appointment with myself or one of my team, one of the careers advisors, to review it and discuss it if you like. It's always helpful to think about like telling people kind of what your goals are. Sometimes, once you've said it out loud and once you've made like a public commitment, it can motivate you to achieve them. And again, as I mentioned before, appreciate that it doesn't have to be set in stone. Life is very uncertain, especially at the minute. So you can be flexible, you can revisit often. Pin it somewhere that you can see it, whether it's on a board in your a pin-up board in your room, or whether it's in a note section on your phone, or wherever you tend to look a lot. So it's always kind of staring you in the face, and make sure that you review it often. And and pat yourself on the back and congratulate yourself and reward yourself when you make progress, because it's not an easy thing to do to set goals and actually work towards achieving them. When you've got all other things going on. So yeah, give yourself a pat on the back. And a little quote here that I quite like: success is a sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. And that's very true. So kind of congratulate yourself for the small steps that you take every day. Okay, so that's everything on career planning. So just a quick reminder, just to let you know that careers are here for you from when you kind of step through the door at university to when you retire. We offer lifelong support as a student and a graduate until, whenever. You can come back to us kind of 20 years after you graduated if you like. So do use our support. At the minute, all our appointments are still obviously virtual and done over Microsoft Teams. And you can either book a 20-minute appointment if you just want to have a quick chat about finding work experience and internships or volunteering, or you want a CV or a LinkedIn check, or you want to go over your career plan. Or if you want more time for that, you can book a 45-minute appointment to go into detail about your career plan and exploring your options, and help with application forms and mock interviews. And your mock interviews can be for a part-time job that you might be applying for at Matalan, or it might be, a graduate scheme with BT, or, a voluntary job, or, you might come to us and say, well, actually, I don't have an interview lined up, but I'm feeling a bit nervous about interview. Can we just have like a bit of a general mock interview, and we can put something together for you? That's no problem at all. Or when you actually go into an interview, you can send the job details to us, with a person specification and the job description, and we'll put something specific together for you. So there's loads of support at Careers. So you can book those appointments on Career Edge, or you can give us a ring on 01772 895 858 if you're having problems doing that, and someone will book an appointment for you. Just to mention as well that there's loads of kind of online events that we're offering at the minute. We've got our virtual careers fair coming up from next week, which you will be, if you've not already, communicated about shortly via your student emails and so on. We've got loads of employers coming to, offer kind of webinars, speaking to students about their opportunities. So yeah, please do get involved in that. Also on Career Edge, you've got your school pages where there's lots more information about your particular industries. So whether you're in the School of Medicine or Sport and Health Sciences or Community Health and Midwifery or whatever it is, you've all got a school page. So just to make you aware of that. And I think that's everything. I do have a feedback link, which I just don't have access to at the minute, where you can give a little bit of feedback about kind of today's session. So I'll arrange for that to be sent out over to you on email. We'd really appreciate if you could fill that in. That'd be absolutely fabulous. And yeah, just thank you very much for coming today. And I hope that's motivated you to take the pulse and have a look at the Career Planning Awards, and especially that career planning template. And I hope it's motivated you to kind of make a start really and setting yourself some goals. There's nothing more kind of powerful about setting goals. It makes you feel happy, refreshed, motivated and positive. So yeah, I think perhaps you should all set yourself a goal. Perhaps by the end of the week, you're going to kind of build in the template and have at least kind of one goal set for the rest of the semester. I think that'd be a really positive thing to do. Yeah, and thank you very much for coming. The session, like I say, will be has been recorded, so it will be emailed back to you if you want to have a read again, and so will the slide if you want to refer back to anything that we've spoke about. Okay, and if I don't catch any of you on a one-to-one session, best of luck with the rest of your careers.